In the year 2250, the red sands of Mars were stained by a brutal war that changed human destiny forevermore. Welcome to History Now Studios. Today, we blend our historical lens with a dark, original sci-fi tale of total rebellion. Earth had poisoned its skies, forcing humanity to look toward the stars to find vital resources and a desperate new home. Mars became a massive mining colony, an industrial prison operated by giant, ruthless corporations from the mother world. The workers were brave adults who endured freezing temperatures and toxic dust storms to harvest the precious red metals. They were promised wealth and a return ticket, but the reality was a life of endless labor in the dark underground mines. Generations passed. A new breed of human was forged in the harsh gravity. They called themselves the true Martian people. They were taller, stronger, and possessed a fierce spirit, deeply shaped by the unforgiving environment of the red dunes. But the corporate lords on Earth demanded more output, drastically cutting the precious oxygen and water rations entirely. The tipping point arrived when the central atmospheric processor failed and the corporate overseers refused to fix it up. Thousands of innocent workers suffocated in the lower sectors. The tragedy ignited a fire of absolute, undeniable hatred. A leader emerged from the shadows of the deep iron mines. Her name was Kaelia, a veteran engineer with nothing left then. Kaelia understood the complex network of tunnels better than anyone. She knew the entire colony was a giant ticking bomb. She gathered the strongest miners, forging deadly weapons from heavy drilling equipment and shattered pieces of hard rock. Their plan was incredibly dangerous: to capture the main spaceport and hold the vast shipments of rare minerals to ransom. Throughout history, empires fall when the oppressed finally realize they outnumber their cruel masters 10-1 today. The Martian rebellion began at midnight. The miners sabotaged the main power grid, plunging the corporate sectors in dark. Armed with heavy plasma torches and sheer willpower, they breached the command center's thick, reinforced steel barriers. The Earth security forces were heavily armed, equipped with advanced combat drones and lethal automatic pulse rifles now. But the security guards were not prepared for the fierce gravity and the suffocating dust that the miners knew perfectly. Kaelia led a fearless charge into the central atrium, fighting through a terrifying storm of relentless laser fire today. They used explosive mining charges to disable the deadly drones, turning the sleek corporate lobby into a harsh war zone. Blood stained the pristine white floors of the control room. The battle was chaotic, violent, and incredibly devastating. Earth quickly realized the deep severity of the situation and immediately dispatched a massive fleet of military warships. Kaelia had only 3 weeks to secure the planetary defense cannons before the unstoppable armada arrived in their orbit. The miners worked tirelessly, repurposing ancient terraforming engines into massive artillery weapons pointing at the sky. They knew that if the Earth fleet landed, the entire colony would be brutally executed as a warning to other star worlds. When the dark warships finally appeared in the Martian sky, they completely eclipsed the sun, casting a terrifying shadow. The fleet commander demanded unconditional surrender, promising absolute destruction if the miners refused to comply today. The orbital bombardment began instantly. Massive kinetic rods struck the surface, creating craters the size of huge cities. But the underground tunnels provided perfect shelter. The Earth forces had to land their infantry to retake the spaceport. As the heavy dropships descended, the hidden Martian artillery opened fire, tearing the metallic sky into burning shreds. It was a bloodbath. The highly trained corporate soldiers were utterly outmaneuvered by the desperate, fearless defenders. Kaelia fought on the front lines, her armor scorched and broken, wielding a heavy plasma cutter like an ancient greatsword. The turning point came when the miners successfully hacked the fleet's navigation systems, threatening to crash the ships. Faced with the total loss of their expensive armada, the corporate commanders finally ordered a full and absolute retreat. A profound silence fell over the Red Planet as the massive dark ships turned around and burned their engines toward Earth. The miners stepped out of the dark tunnels, looking up at a sky that finally belonged to them after centuries of sorrow. Kaelia stood among the survivors, heavily wounded but victorious. She had successfully birthed a completely new republic. This fictional sci-fi tale mirrors the real history of ancient colonies rising up against distant, oppressive monarchies. From the American Revolution to the independence of Haiti, human desire for ultimate freedom transcends time and space now. At History Now Studios, we believe that exploring the future helps us deeply understand the brutal lessons of our own past. The Martian Uprising remains a legendary tale of absolute courage, reminding us that tyrants will always eventually fall. The Red Planet now flies its own independent flag, a bright symbol of hope shining brightly in the endless cosmic darkness.